What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the bottom of the map in the red color, playing as Thor. His name is Shadowfax. His opponent today in the blue color, playing as Set. His name is Socrates. The map is Blue Lagoon, and this is being played on Overhaul Patch 5.0. No, 0.5. If it was 5.0, it would be basically as balanced as I thought I could get it. But no, we're not even at 1.0 stage. There's bugs. There's all sorts of wild things going on. We're going to be watching Set versus Thor here. This is going to be a really telling game. This is going to be a really, really telling game. Why? Because I think that the buff that we've given to Set in order to compensate to not have mercenary, which is something that I think is a good change, maybe is too big. Maybe we have to tone it back 5% and see if that works out nicely for the Egyptian economy while allowing every other civilization to keep up with Egyptian. So we'll see how things are going to go. Pelt of Argus here, as the relic has been spotted. Let's have a look at exactly what that one is, because I cannot remember. Pelt of Argus. Oh, it gives your villagers a boost to their HP, or no, armor, I believe. Pelt. No, it's not in there. I'm pretty sure this one is supposed to give you a boost to your villager HP. Let me send that to Socrates. Gives a boost of 10% to Vil armor. Nudge. There you go. I don't think I put it in the changes. All right, so we'll see how things are going to go. Now, if anyone can beat Set with Thor, Shadowfax is the guy. I think Shadowfax is arguably the best Thor player currently playing. He definitely plays the most Thor. He plays on an account called Thor's Horsehead, I believe. Only playing Thor, and he's definitely one of the stronger players with said god. But that being said, still going to be a difficult one to deal with. I think that Set is going to be a little bit busted. So one of the big changes though for Set is that the temple is now 150 gold. So this really slows down any sort of early advance as possible. I think I have been able to get a 402 advance still, but you have to have a really nice map. You have to have your gold needs to be gathered first. This temple looks like it might be getting up fast enough, as Socrates will be getting his resources in, and he should be having a good time here. Now, there is still the possibility of going for a Shifting Sands cheese, which Socrates might go for here, and Shadowfax needs to play around this to some degree. So we'll see what's going to happen where that's concerned, as the temple coming up over here for Shadowfax. And he's sitting in his base as he should. He has a really nice town center over here. And arguably, I think that Norse is going to have a much better time grabbing that second town center against Egyptian when things are going a bit funky for them in the early game. So we'll see if that's what Shadowfax really wants to go for here or not. Meanwhile, over in this base of Socrates, we are seeing the priests coming out. Socrates is wanting to go for the early game Shifting Sands cheese, and Shadowfax is out in the middle of nowhere. So the question is going to be, will Shadowfax be able to find... Or will Socrates' vision be able to find Shadowfax's hunt here, or is he just going to lose everything with this attack, getting himself the hands of the Pharaoh here as his advance time just about to pop a little bit behind 402, but not going to be that big of a deal in terms of this attack. So we'll see what Shadowfax's plans are here as the Ptah hits. He has not reacted to this one in the slightest. Vision does come down, and he does see these villagers here. Shifting Sands coming through. One villager going to be down. The villager's going to be retreating up to the top here. One villager down. Two villagers down. Does get two villagers there. I mean, it's not the biggest of... it's not awful. Losing two villagers to a Shifting Sands rush, in my opinion, is not the worst. Don't lose 3 though. Losing 2 villages is not as bad as you might think. Let's talk a little bit about the value of a pharaoh empowerment and how much Socrates loses as he's running his pharaoh in. He's going to be taking a little bit more damage. Okay, so don't get me wrong. Picking these villagers off is a big thing for Socrates. Don't get me wrong. However, the advantage that comes from your pharaoh not empowering, every 15 seconds, you're going to be losing out on roughly, I would say, 20 to 30 resources. Every 15 seconds, that's about how much you lose out on, because you should have the pharaoh empowering around about 8+ villages at this moment in the game. So this pharaoh being idle from 402 to 530 here has cost Socrates somewhere in the vicinity of, I'd say, if I had to guess, somewhere around 150 to 200 resources, just in terms of not gathering. So it is a big deal, and Shadowfax losing those 2 villages does mean that resource loss is going to be rewarded over the course of a couple of minutes, but Shadowfax can play from this position, and he should be moving out onto his hunt as soon as he possibly can. Second town center up for Socrates, and Shadowfax is going to have to just play from behind. He's going to try and find a villager kill or something with the Shadowfax Valkyrie, and we'll see how he's going to go. That being said, there is also the fact that Shadowfax's villagers were idled for that time as well. So that's basically paying for the pharaoh being in the not empowering as well. Nonetheless, villagers moving up here for Shadowfax. He's got a handful of units out. He's in a little bit of a problem. He's got a lot of villagers on wood. He's got a lot of villagers on gold. Obviously, he wants the town center up. With the change here in the overhaul patch, he will be able to get this one up with these villagers if he so chooses. And we'll see how that's going to go as he's ready to get this town center up on the front. I wouldn't be surprised to see him just rush 3 town centers here. We do see Socrates going in with spearmen around his own barracks here. This is, generally speaking, this doesn't do a whole lot against Norse, booming Norses, the classical army. You kind of would be more excited about going for things like the heroic age against a booming Norse, but Socrates doesn't really know what's coming for him here, and he wants to defend his hunt for the time being. As the spearmen searching around, Shadowfax is behind 10 villages here, so this is a big difference in income at this point. So after everything is said and done, like, Socrates is in a great position here. So this early shifting sands was brutal. And I think that Shadowfax might need to go back to the drawing board in terms of villager positioning against set. Very, very important to bring those villagers back before the 4-minute mark, I would guess, into your main base so you don't lose them. Probably the better play. Nonetheless, Shadowfax has his town center up over here. He might consider this town center. He might just stay 2 town centers. He does find the spearmen over here. Going to be looking to take these ones out as fast as he can, as he does pick off a couple of spearmen over here. The resources of Socrates are skyrocketing at this point, as he will be able to get to the heroic age very, very soon. As we see the Dwarven Armory coming up here for Shadowfax. He wants to go for somewhat of a semi-fast heroic here, it seems, off of these 2 town centers, especially with these Rhinoceros being nice and close to the town center. He's getting himself the Ox card out as well, having the hunt back here. He will be able to hit this heroic age, but so too will Socrates. Shadowfax has gone up a little bit more heavy on the army than Socrates at about, 15 population. That's where the resources are in the differential at the moment. So Shadowfax needs to kind of find some value with this army at this point. Otherwise, he's going to be sitting, scratching his head saying, well, what am I supposed to do? He does have some villagers on this wood line he could potentially pick off as Socrates is on the defensive where that's concerned. I'm actually interested right now with what the difference in economy is. It's probably... yeah, it's in favor of Shadowfax still. That's wild. This is why, even with all of the bonus of villagers, the Norse economy is always going to be bonkers. It's always going to be bonkers. You get 20% bonus on food income with Thor. The dwarves have got a huge bonus over the Even the new Egyptian villages at 1.09 gold versus the 0.9 or 89 gold, whatever this is. It's 0.91 gold, I think it is. Now for the Egyptian villages, as Shadowfax almost able to advance to the next stage. Nephthys does hit a full minute before Shadowfax is going to be advancing here, but shouldn't be that big of a deal. Especially as Shadowfax is fully walled up now. He's going to have Skadi. He just needs to defend some sort of a timing that's going to be coming for him. Socrates is going to have a lot of units here. I wouldn't be surprised to see him drop a market and his main base as he is here and attempt to go to the Mythic Age off of these 2 town centers. He's got himself some giraffe here he can eat in his main base as well. He's finished up the hunt on this position here as well, though, as he hasn't eaten those giraffe that are there, but it's not that big of a deal. He's got the Pharaoh. He can eat hunt in his main base if he so chooses by bringing that Pharaoh over there. We'll see if that's what he wants to do. And Shadowfax can grab this gold, this town center at some point here as well. He's left his gold in his main base. Not a whole lot remaining in this one, but he's moving to his second gold mine a little bit earlier than he otherwise would. I'm not 100% sure why that is. Generally, you'd see him wanting to finish that gold up. He's on 2 separate gold mines over here. This wall not finished just yet for Shadowfax. Shadowfax wants to drop a bunch of hill forts here in order to start dealing with like the chariot archers that are going to be coming up. He wants Jarls. He wants Huskarls. The big thing that has changed though for Norse is that, look at this. 110 HP. These have got an extra 5 HP than they otherwise should. So they are that little bit stronger than you might expect because of the Norse buffs that came through. As we do see a hill fort, this one's in a bit of a weird position. I'm surprised he didn't just slam that down on top of this town center, because that's basically the position at which Socrates is going to want to attack, though it looks like maybe Shadowfax is playing around a tornado to some degree, as Horus is already incoming here for Socrates. This is a very, very set-centric strategy. You get to the Mythic Age, you hit your timing, you cause a lot of pain for the Thor player who's getting the town center on the back here with the infantry. It looks like Shadowfax also not going to be utilizing those villages to get the town center up either. Surprised to see that. I would have expected the players to do that, but it looks like Shadowfax is valuing the income over the town center going up faster. As the Socrates chariot archer searching things out, Shadowfax still no masons, no fortified town centers. As the chariot archer searching around for something to kill here. I mean, he can go after that main town center, but it does look like the raider will find said chariot archer and take that one down nicely here. Ancestors getting dropped by Socrates. Does he not have vision? He doesn't have vision, so he's dropped the ancestors so he gets line of sight of this main base. This is not what I expected to see not vision, but Frost getting dropped down onto this position, going to be taking out these units nicely here in the main base of Shadowfax. Tornado getting dropped 13 minutes into the game here, getting dropped onto this position. No masons is through for Shadowfax, so he loses all of his longhouses, and he's going to be losing this town center here. Maybe if he had masons, those houses and everything could have kept that town center alive, as the minions do make their way up to this position. They do find the villagers over here. We see some of the Rhinoceros of Set coming through as the Avenger is going to be scouting around, but with walls already up, I like that from Shadowfax to play around the Avenger nicely. We see the villagers coming over here, going to attempt to get a town center up with the hill fort coming up on this position. Life's going to be a little bit challenging there for Socrates. Villager differential is still in favor, though, of Socrates as Shadowfax drops the forest fire down on this position to get just a little bit more damage done onto these units. He's got the hill fort up, trying to make Huskarl, but now the heavy axemen are through here for Socrates. As I mean, you do have throwing axemen. Throwing axemen now are really, really good against the axemen of Socrates. You have to basically utilize your chariot archers to break through those throwing axemen, so you can do you can have success going Huskarl throwing axemen much better now than you basically could as this town center back up here, or coming back up for Shadowfax. Still not utilizing the villagers to rebuild the town center. Surprised where that's concerned, as the Jarl's coming over here. The dwarves have to get pulled off of that gold mine, as problems are starting to emerge here for Shadowfax with the chaos coming through. As Socrates here going up to 3 town centers, villagers coming over onto this position. As Shadowfax, he's at 111 population. He's got a lot of resources in the bank. We'll see how things are going to go. He does still have that Mythic Age to come, but I know you guys are thinking Mythic Age means Ragnarok. Ragnarok a little bit different in this game than the regular one. You get a Well of Erd that spawns 5 Ragnarok heroes every 60 seconds. It's a late game centric god power rather than a game ending god power. And maybe we might even see Shadowfax opt in to going for tier in this position, as he needs a little bit of help to slow down Socrates. But we'll see how it's going to go as the Axemen starting to break through. Do they have their upgrade? They do have their upgrade. What's it called? Axe of Vengeance. Bonus damage versus buildings, as the Chariot Archers getting pushed back here. This hill fort is getting torn down very, very nicely, very, very fast because of that upgrade. So we see another siege works getting dropped down there. Pharaoh getting picked off on the front there, as the medium raiders coming through to try and take down some villages here. Shadowfax is on full town centers, but he does not have the production here, as this is always going to be one of the problems that hits Norse really, really hard, is if they lose any production. And right now, Shadowfax has lost 2 hill forts in this game. If they lose any production, life becomes very, very tough, as the Axemen coming through. They do still melt through these Thrown Axemen, but the Thrown Axemen will get a lot more damage done versus the Axemen of Egyptian players here as well. As we see Shadowfax, he has caught up in score to some degree, but look at the difference in population. This is the problem here, as Socrates continues to break through. Socrates is significantly further in front on the villager population count here. If we take a quick look here while it's going on, 75, that's not the one I meant to push. I meant to push this button here. All resources. The resource total is only now starting to go in favor of Socrates, as the priests are coming out to deal with the fire giant here, and Shadowfax, he needs to pull back and get himself sorted. He's got the market in the corner ready to start up a trade route. He's got the wall set up. He doesn't necessarily need to take these fights. He needs to get military buildings up, producing everything. There's some more military buildings. There's the hill fort. There's the longhouse. As the difference here in this fight is effectively just that Socrates has got more stuff out than Shadowfax does, but he's still fighting this one. And those Chariot Archers here, they're not going to be that useful in this fight versus the Huskar, but those champion Axemen are going to absolutely massacre the Huskar. Great micro here from Socrates. You have to target down those Thrown Axemen as best as you can. There's another Frost Giant coming through. More units popping out here for Shadowfax, as Shadowfax does decide to tap out in this game. Just could not find his footing after all the dust was settled. Part of me feels like if he did have that hill fort, that second hill fort back here, instead of trying to stop this town center from going up, he would have been able to produce some more Huskar here, and everything would have been okay. But I think the hill fort getting dropped down on this position just kind of threw away that very, very crucial building, which, I mean, extra 9 seconds of training time, every 9 seconds comes through, extra Huskar comes out, would have spent those resources instead of fighting down population in this fight. I'm not sure exactly how it would have all been different without this, without the changes here, but nice game here from Socrates. If you guys enjoyed it, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.